For 6 years, a door in a suburban house opened itself every single night. Not a draft, not a faulty latch. The homeowner tested it with a level with tape with a camera that filmed 24/7. Every night at exactly 2:17 a.m., the bedroom door swung open exactly 14 inches, then closed. The camera caught something else too. The door always stopped exactly 14 inches. Not 13, not 15, exactly 14. As if it was measuring something, as if it was letting something in, then letting it leave. Tonight, 3 stories of technology that should not work, timestamps that do not match, and signals that were never meant to be received. Welcome to Synapse Gap. I will start with the router story. This was posted on Reddit about 8 months ago by a user who only goes by Static Ghost. He bought a used Linksys router at a flea market for $5. The seller was an older woman cleaning out her late husband's office. She said it had been sitting in a box for at least 8 years. Static Ghost plugged it in. It booted up normally, connected to the internet. Everything worked. But that night around 3:00 a.m., he woke up to a faint sound coming from the hallway. A voice, low, male, speaking in what sounded like Russian. He followed the sound to the living room. It was coming from the router's speaker. Here is where it gets specific. Routers do not have speakers. Consumer routers have never had speakers. But this one did, a tiny piezoelectric buzzer that was not listed in any documentation. He recorded the audio, ran it through a spectrogram, and found that the voice was not live. It was a loop, a pre-recorded message embedded on the chip, repeating every 47 minutes. The message, translated from Russian, read, "Transmission interrupted, awaiting reconnection. Stand by." He tried to access the admin panel. The default password did not work. He tried every common router password. None worked. He did a factory reset. The password changed to something new. He tried again. It changed again. The router was changing its own password in real time, responding to his attempts. He disconnected it and opened the casing. Inside, there was a chip soldered to the board that did not match any reference for this model. The chip was labeled USDA 7. A search revealed nothing, but the date code on the chip read 2007. The same year the previous owner, the woman's husband, had died. The husband was a retired telecommunications engineer who had spent 20 years working on Cold War-era encrypted communication system. Static Ghost never plugged the router in again, but he kept it. Sometimes, when the house is completely silent, he swears he can hear a faint buzzing from the box where he keeps it. The second story comes from Reddit. A user named Doorframe King posted a video that every skeptic in the comments tried to debunk. The video showed a standard wooden interior door, bedroom, white paint, normal. Then at 2:17 a.m. the door swings open. Exactly 14 inches, stops, waits 6 seconds, closes, no one is there, no window open, no draft. He filmed this every night for 6 years. He moved houses. The new house had a different door, but the door still opened at exactly 2:17 a.m. every night. He replaced the door frame, same thing. He removed the door entirely and stored it in the garage. And then he woke up one night to find the garage door wide open and the bedroom door leaning against the wall next to his bed, as if it had walked itself back inside. The post ends with a final update. He sold the door on Craigslist to a buyer who insisted on paying in cash and refused to give his name. The buyer drove a van with no license plates. The night after the sale, Doorframe King's clock stopped at exactly 2:17 a.m. It has never worked since. The third story is shorter, but it will stick with you longer. This one was posted on Reddit by a woman who was clearing out her late grandmother's answering machine. Her grandmother had passed away 10 years earlier, but the family had kept the machine in the attic. She plugged it in to see if there were any old messages she wanted to save. There was one message. It was from a man who introduced himself as a friend of her grandfather. He left a message asking the grandmother to call him back, leaving a phone number. The date stamp on the message read July 14, 1999. The woman thought nothing of it, just an old message from an old friend. But here is what she noticed. The answering machine had a feature that displayed the current date and time on its screen. She checked it. The internal clock was correct. The date was correct. The machine was working perfectly. So how did a message from 1999 play on a machine that was unplugged for 10 years and only connected to power 30 seconds before she pressed play? She called the number from the message. A man answered on the second ring. She asked if he was the friend of her grandfather. There was a long silence. Then the man said, "I do not know your grandfather. I do not know your grandmother. I have never called this number before in my life, but my name is the same as the name on the message. And I was born in 1999. Three stories, three questions. What was the router waiting for? Why did the door always stop at exactly 14 inches? And who left a voicemail from a date they were not alive to witness? Some glitches follow us. The door followed its owner across 2 houses. The voicemail waited 10 years in a dead machine. The router is still in a box, buzzing faintly, waiting for a reconnection that will never come. No one has collected the router. The buyer of the door never surfaced, and no one has called that voicemail number back since. Subscribe to Synapse Gap before the signal breaks.